You guys ready?
I must leave the meeting, it says.
It says I gotta leave. Bye, guys.
Every time I hit record, it tells you to leave the meeting. Well, guess who's back? Back again. Ness is back. Tell a friend. All right, that's as far as I can go. I can't sing anymore, or else we gotta get flagged like we did last episode.
Yes,
Really? What did you do?
We posted a song on YouTube.
We did.
And then when I tried to put the video on YouTube, YouTube said like, "Oh, do you have permission for this song?" And I'm like, "No." And it's like, "Do you want to pay royalties?" And I'm like, "No." And she's just like, "All right, we're gonna have to crop this out." So they were able to crop that song out. I used I forgot this the artist, but I used the song. I always feel like somebody's watching me, or what is that?
Okay.
Yeah, people think it's from.
You can hear us singing it.
Jackson. Yeah, we're actually singing it too.
So why were you putting?
Because it was ICU was the opening line of the stuff in Expunge. Somebody's watching me.
Yep. Was
then the link.
It had everything to do with Snail's Lore Corner last week, which was amazing. He was able to explain what was going on, and
Titan did a great job.
Yeah.
Nice. And Mr. Green.
I want to thank Green Titan for joining us last week. He was our first guest host that we've had ever, so that was pretty good. He did a good job. Had a lot of feedback. My friends and family did like his laugh. He said it has a very infectious laugh.
He does.
But
so for everyone out there, they're looking for my replacement. Apparently, Big Green Titan won.
I got a text message saying, "Is Ness coming back?" Because she's not been on the last two shows. Did you listen to the show before this one? She was on it. She might have been asleep listening to me, but she was there.
My eyes glaze over and I get quiet.
Well, guys, we are back. We're all here like we were talking about. Thank you so much to Mr. Green Titan for joining us last week. He was able to take over for Ness while Ness took a well-needed vacation. Now she's back. We're back. And this is episode 36 of the Three Warlocks podcast. I am your host, Vega. And like always, I have Snail and Ness. Guys, welcome. How are you guys doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Good. That's good. I don't, Snail, I'll talk to you a little bit before the show. I kind of have an idea how your week went. I'm kind of more curious how Ness's vacation went. Any crazy stories you want to share, Ness, or do you want to just not mention anything cool, exciting you saw on your time off?
So I told you I went to Alaska. And I was like super excited, but I didn't have like a lot of expectation that I was going to see any animals. But apparently my tour bus, we got out of the bus and stumbled upon a baby bear, and we ran like that baby bear was going to maul us down. That baby bear, of course, ran from us. And as we were petrified running into the bus, it was running across the street. But we figured whenever there's a baby bear, there's a mama bear. But we were unscathed. So that happened. And then for some reason, I decided to come back to work midweek. I don't know why they stopped me. I don't know. Yeah, I came back to work. So
Crazy fool.
That's been exciting. Yeah. The building's not on fire, so it's okay. Yeah. That was my excitement, guys. What about you guys?
Snail and I have had a long week when it comes to work and life. We haven't been chased by any baby bears, that's for sure. That has not been our weeks with that. But
I got chased by deadlines. Is that the same thing?
No. Did it get your heart pumping? Because it got my heart pumping. Did it get your...
No, I did get very stressed midweek, and then had to phone the boss and say, "I'm very stressed." Shouted at him for a bit, and then I went, "Fine, I'll go back to work now."
Was that the voice level that you shouted at him at?
Yes.
I think the worst thing I've ever been chased by is like geese or a goose. Those things are brutal. They're pretty.
They are mean.
Oh man, when they poke their tongues out at you, run.
Yeah, it's like I think that's the thing that was probably the earliest or the most recent thing that I've been chased by. Obviously, your dogs and things like that. But yeah, I think a goose or a geese. Geese is multiple. Goose is one, right?
Yeah.
It was one goose that chased me in a park. I was just trying to feed some ducks, and that goose wanted that bread. So dark times on my end, guys. Speaking of dark times, go ahead.
All right.
I was going to say, I remember my gran running across a field being chased by a peacock that was quite entertaining.
Oh, peacock!
And it's
Jeez.
one of those moments where you look up and then you see your gran running. You're like, where's she going? And then you see the peacock follow. It's like, oh,
Oh,
that's
man.
It's
entertaining.
mating season.
Well, I was gonna say dark times for us guys. But
Let's
speaking
go.
of dark times, have you guys had a chance to go to the tower recently?
Kid.
You did, huh? That's a little,
Kid.
yeah.
It was
little
spooky.
crazy things are happening, guys. Well, yeah,
Unless you're on Rob's server and then
Yeah.
nothing happens.
for some reason, Rob just went into the tower and he was like, "What are you guys are talking about? I don't see nothing here. There was nothing on his."
Super clean.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, this week at Bunchy guys starts up with it's getting dark. And sure enough, it's getting dark because we are seeing ticking lights all over the tower. If you guys haven't had a chance to log in this week, go out there and check them out. You can actually stand on some of them. Pretty entertaining, actually. Yeah, it's full dark mode. Tower is full dark mode. Strange things are afoot, and we're still investigating what's driving the darkness, or we're still investigating deeper into what's causing this problem in the tower. With the help of Mithrax, we're going through the Vex network, and hopefully we're going to find who the culprit is behind this. And we pretty much have an idea who it is, but we're getting ever so closer. This week too, Grandmaster Nightfalls dropped, so that's very exciting. You have to be 1335 to access them. That's something we learned. So, and that's with your artifact included, which is nice. The
good.
plug one is up for grabs this week, so make sure you look out for that. And this week's Nightfall is the Glassway, which it's been a little talk around the water cooler everywhere. It's a very difficult Nightfall, but with the right strategy, with the right mods, with the right armor and weapons, you guys can conquer it. No cheeses, right, Snail? No cheeses, just straight up.
And we tried the cheese. It's very difficult.
Okay. Well, apparently they try the cheese, guys. Come on. Anyway, yeah, it's very difficult. The cheese is very difficult, guys. There's a video out there, I believe. Aztec Cross just put it out, and it has a warlock there's a helmet, and the name just escaped me because it's super long. It's the one that highlights your enemies, and it looks like a see-through. You can see the brain.
Cerebral one.
Yeah, cerebral one, something of the uttermost world, or some name like that. I'm a warlock, and I can't believe a warlock main. I can't believe I can remember that armor. But apparently, if you use that with stasis, and you have, because it recharges your grenade ability ever so often, and if you have your discipline all the way up, I think that's how you throw grenades more often. You can get a grenade every 42 seconds. Which, if you pair that up with a warm mind cell, that gives you energy back when you inhale one of those charge of light, I guess, give you more energy faster. And if you use, the name is escaping. What do you guys call your little turret that shoots?
Steve.
Steve. If you guys use Steve,
Bleak Watcher to everybody else.
Bleak
Steve to
Watcher
us.
to everybody else, and Bleak Watcher. Well, if you use Steve or the Bleak Watcher, that thing slows down and keeps enemies at bay nonstop while you're able to work through your strategy. So you're constantly slowing people down, and that thing freezes one enemy, and after that enemy's frozen, it moves on to the next one, which is very, very, very smart. And then you can pair it up with other mods and other aspects into your stasis subclass. So it's a really neat video. You guys should definitely check it out, man. It's really cool.
Nice.
That gives you an idea of how to use the class, especially with that exotic armor that I would have never thought in a million years to even use it, because it doesn't seem like a very viable armor to use in a Grandmaster Nightfall. Well, that's what's going on, guys. There's also something that Bungie taketh away and Bungie giveth back to us, and this is something to do with some weapons that are coming back. Ness, take it away.
That's right. So right now, Bungie had promised us that they were going to bring back some Moon and Dreaming City weapons. So they are bringing these weapons back with particular perks, and all of these weapons can be, you can actually get them from a drop from the original sources. So if it was a bounty from, what's the mascara chick?
Tess?
Eris Morn. So if it was a bounty for Eris Morn, you would still get the bounty to get the new weapons with the new perks anyway. So we're getting, what is it, Loud Lullaby back. And one of the potential perks that you can get is tunnel vision, which reloading after a kill increases target acquisition and aim down sights. And this weapon already is pretty gnarly. It has an impact of 92. It's mostly used in PvE. So I was looking up all the original, kind of went on light GG just to see, what the original perks was. And for this one, it was aggressive frame and explosive payload was the one that they showed. And the weapon itself, I mean, for aim assist, it already is a 60 and the recoil is at 98. So, I mean, that's already pretty gnarly as it is. One small step has trench barrel, which after a successful melee hit, the weapon gains increased damage, handling and reload for a short duration, or until 3 shots are fired. And this is also a PvP. It's also fairly used in PvP. Wait, PvE, my bad. We have Tranquility with Frenzy. So being in combat extends the time for damage, handling, reload. From the one that I looked at, the current impact was at 70, handling was at 52, and reload at 42.
Ooh, that's good.
Arc Logic, which I kind of wanted to like this weapon, but it just wasn't very good initially. So one of the perks that you could get is heating up. So final blows with this weapon increases accuracy and stability while improving vertical recoil. So the one I looked at, impact was 21, stability was 41, and the recoil was 47. I'm curious to see how much that will actually improve, though heating up is actually one of the perks that people really do like. And then we've got Dream Breaker with the potential of getting cornered, faster charge time, draw times when surrounded. The reload currently is 37. Every waking moment. Are you showing the pictures or am I just boring people?
Go ahead.
Neil's falling asleep. I could tell.
I'm not falling asleep. I'm listening intently.
Yeah, you did some really good research on this thing. I'm amazed. It's pretty good. I like it.
Yeah, I had time while I decided to ignore work. Those people are needy.
Well done.
So every waking moment, it's a PvE mostly used weapon, will come with Killing Wind, potentially. So right now the range of this weapon is 54 and the handling is 30. Now, mind you, these are perks that Light GG had actually already had on their system. So I'm pretty sure it can get other things. Love and Death, Chain Reaction, which Love and Death being a grenade launcher, Chain Reaction is really good with grenade launchers. A Fine Memorial, which is a machine gun. Sorry, I hadn't been mentioning what they were. This weapon is actually evenly used in PvE and PvP. So that one can get Adrenaline Junkie. Currently the impact 41, the handling 45. So that actually sounds pretty good. I would actually go for that one. Night Terror, this one, it looked like no one used it in PvP. Can actually get One for All, which is hitting 3 separate targets, increases the damage for a moderate duration. Currently, the impact of this sword is actually 60. So then we've got Tiger Sprite, Tiger Spite.
We just talked about that too.
I do love that weapon.
This weapon is amazing. So potentially this one actually can get Frenzy, which is the same one as before. Being in combat can actually improve handling, damage, and reload. The one that I was looking at had Kill Clip, which is really nice with this weapon. I think I rolled with that weapon for quite some time. So
It's a pretty weapon too, isn't it?
It is pretty. That's the only weapon I never changed a shader on because it was already, I mean, the Dreaming City shader is actually really pretty as it is anyway. So then Vega's favorite, Twilight Oath, which from looking at that one, it's only used in PvP apparently. So I've been murdered by it quite a bit. That one can actually get Vorpal Weapon, which increases the damages against boss, vehicles, and guardians when the super is active. Right now, the impact is 29. So I'd be curious to see how far that would go.
Yeah.
And then we've got the last weapon, Abide the Return, which is going to get Thresh, which I don't know how you guys feel about Thresh, but I really haven't noticed any sort of improvement. It says killing combatants with this weapon generates a small amount of super energy. I mean, I don't know if you guys have noticed, but it must be really, really minuscule.
I think you have to. I think you have to use this. Like, say you have a solar subclass, your weapon with Thresh has to be a solar weapon. Is that true, still, or am I off on that?
No, I thought it was any it
weapon.
would recharge anything.
Okay.
But I do think we've over flooded the market with swords at the moment.
That's probably why.
Considering we've decreased the damage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because this season alone, we've added 4.
Well, they had to make
another 2.
Remember, they nerfed your weapon. They nerfed your favorite.
But guillotine still does a load of damage. It's the class-specific swords that do the most damage at the moment.
I forgot which frame.
And now we've had another 2 swords. I don't see the point.
I believe
I think it's because swords aren't really being used that much. They want people to start using them more. Even though if you look at all the data, the swords are mostly used in PvE, not PvP, because normally people aren't going to go run for the heavy ammo because it's a pain in the ass. You die.
Yeah. Most heavy weapon usage is really low on PvE. PvP, unless you're playing like Mayhem or something like that, when it's like constantly spawning, right? But yeah, you know what? Like you said, out of all these weapons, the one I'm most excited about is the Twilight Oath. It'd be kind of nice to get my hands on one of those, because before we had the Adored, before we had the Beloved, we had Twilight Oath. It was a really good weapon, a really good super killer. Like, you can kill a golden gun if you can get a headshot. You can kill a Titan, striker Titan, if it was coming straight at you. It was a really good weapon to have back when sniping was something beautiful, something to behold in Destiny 2. Now it's slowly getting back in there, so I'm actually pretty excited for that. Which one are you guys excited for? I know Snail like the Tiger Sprite.
Tiger Sprite, yeah.
Sprite.
I used to farm the grenade launcher. 11 Death. I just wanted that roll with that auto loading and spike grenades. Used to farm that all the time because it was a decent DPS back in the day when grenade launchers were good.
Yeah, I'll probably do Love and Death and Tiger Spite. I've always loved Tiger Spite.
Yeah, these are good weapons. And when, remind me again, Ness, when are these weapons going to be available to all of us?
July 6th.
July 6th. That's going to be the next update. So that's good.
Yep.
Awesome.
So they mentioned to go ahead and happy hunting. So.
Yep. Well, we're excited for those weapons to return. I know we are. And something else is returning that Bungie seems to. We were talking about things being overwatered, oversaturated. Iron Banner is returning next week, guys. Seems like we had Iron Banner maybe a couple weeks ago. But the reason why it's returning, Bungie does explain why. Does feel like it's coming a little bit sooner, but they're trying to help us out by giving us more opportunities to get pinnacles so you can reach your goal of 1335 to get to that Grand Master Nightfall pool. Iron Banner starts 10 a.m. on Tuesday. That is June 29th, and it ends on 10 a.m. on Tuesday, July the 6th. So happy 4th of July, everybody in the States.
Yeah.
We're going to be playing some Iron Banner. And then this was actually very exciting. And the 12th, they said that this is the second to the last one. So the last one's coming up. So when the last Iron Banner comes up, that means that the season is almost at its end. So that's it feels like the season has gone by pretty fast. I think that to me,
that's been a good season.
Yeah, it's been a good season. And just the fact that we have 2 Iron Banners left and one of them's coming here next week, it's been making me pretty excited about what to expect the next following season. So pretty cool, pretty exciting.
It's strange that Saladin was mentioned in the story this week, and he's returning next week.
And he's returning. Yep. We'll talk about more about that at the end of the episode when Snell brings out some crazy lore information and things that have been happening behind the scenes in the story this week. Well, let's get some things together here. There's a Bungie store rewards and updates. Now, take it away, bud.
Yeah, so on July 1st, so not that far away, Bungie Store is rolling out a beta, whatever you want to call it in your language, version of a transaction platform, an e-commerce platform. So players with existing Bungie accounts were prompted to change their passwords, and they can sort of transition to the new platform, a new way of viewing, browsing, and purchasing Bungie rewards. So if you like Vega and you don't have an account that matches, then you can get that sorted and get a new password, and then you can get all the exciting rewards from the Bungie codes and stuff. So funny enough, Bob was showing me tonight, he bought the bottle of glass art print. So we just got it framed. It looks really nice. Yeah, very good. So that's one of the codes that you can redeem. So 1st of July, go and have a look at the new store, have a look at the purchases, redeem some codes, worth it.
Awesome. That's a good update. Something good we're going to be looking forward to as well. Well, guys, there's some updates also as the TWAB continues with some PC frame rates. Back in December, people were having some problems. They were explaining on their forums that they were having some issues with the live probes that led to some CPU performance degradation on some of the PCs. And now it says that earlier this week, AMD, which is Advanced Micro Devices, it's a company, they released optional update that resolves the issue where some Radeon, hope I'm saying that right, graphics products may have been expecting lower than expected performance in Destiny 2. So if you have any questions about this, it's already been released. It should be helping the issue. But if it's not, go see what the Radeon Software Adrenaline 21.6.1 highlights. It's almost like the little known issues thing that they dropped out. See if that helps. Since it's not really a solve to the solving the issue, but at least if you have it gives you optional things to kind of look for. If by doing this update doesn't resolve the thing, you can also consult them, because this PC issue, and it's only affecting the AMD users for some reason. And I don't think that has something to do with the CPU or the GPUs on the computers or something like that, which that is over my head. I don't know anything about that stuff, but I've seen Destiny play on a computer, and it's the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. It hurts your eyes. And I can understand why you would be upset if your frame rates are not looking beautiful and amazing. It's a very expensive piece of equipment you're investing money on, and you want to make sure it looks nice. So this is going to give you an update that maybe this will resolve or make things a little bit easier. There's always issues in Destiny, and that's no exception. So speaking of issues, we're going to be going into the known issues. And with that, we bring back a person who has been gone for an entire week in Alaska, investigating the issues that have been going on with the bears over there. And now she's back, and now she's going to be talking about the known issues.
All right, known issues. So mind you, this is a very short list. You can go on Bungie. There's a longer list of everything that probably they listed last week. So bounties, valor, and weekly challenges are not gaining progress in Crucible matches. So be aware. Warmind's longevity armor isn't allowing the Warmind cells to last longer, and they don't appear to explode like the regular cells. Pearl of Glass Triumph progression may not count if collected between multiple players. The transfer step, this is a first world problem, apparently leaves a gap, when you're wearing your Seventh Seraph robes.
That affects me.
Yeah. So I noticed that someone was actually messing with my list, because this one says unfair drops in Vault of Glass for Snail and Jay. I don't think that's a known issue, but thank you. I will report it.
It is a known issue to me.
I'll report it for it. How is it a known issue? It says unfair for you. Wait, so you haven't got
me and Jay.
Oh.
Yeah.
What haven't you got?
No.
The Mythic class?
No, I believe Jay is in 20,
done it like 20 times.
20 completions and counting, and still hasn't gotten it. So
wow, that drop rate is horrible.
Yep.
So sorry guys. Sorry, but I'm pretty sure that Bungie doesn't know about that issue. I'll write it. PS4 controllers
does make you wonder if I've added things into this list.
No, I've noticed. So PS4 controllers, Snail said suck it. That's wrong. You shouldn't say that.
Why would you say that, Snail? That's horrible.
Now you're lying.
Okay. Key bindings don't appear to work after alt tabbing on Stadia. Interesting. Floating pieces appearing, first person view when you're looking down your Lunafaction boost. Is that one you added? Because I want to see this kind of.
No, I didn't have that.
Okay. And yes, Snail, I wonder if you noticed me changing you to a colorblind society member. Yeah, I noticed as I went into my character this week, and all of a sudden all the green was brown. I was like, what is wrong with this thing? And yep, colorblind for green, I believe. Yeah, thanks. That was funny. And then once again, Bungie is saying that they are investigating beagle and baboon errors. So beagles and yeah, beagles and baboons are offended everywhere that they are being used as an error code. They are not errors, people. So yeah,
No, that dog's not lazy.
That dog's not lazy. You see, they're taking up arms.
Oh my God.
So yeah, so that's all we've got for this short list. But if you want to see all the known errors, just go into the known issues article. I know words.
I know
you know words. You're dangerous if you know words.
We're bad guys. We're professionals. We're professionals here. That's what we do.
We're professionals.
Oh
Or
my
and
God.
if you observe some issues, please report them on the hashtag help forum on Bungie.
Yep.
Be one of those people to talk about how the colorblind community is just ruining it for everybody. Thank you. Back to you, Vega.
Yeah, thank you. I'm waiting for Snail to do a post on like, why am I not getting 5th mythic class after my 6th completion? Come on, bro. You gotta suffer. Oh my God.
I had to mention somebody else but Jay.
I know.
Just to give him some
I know.
I hope you guys get something soon. I don't understand the drop rates that Bungie puts in. It just seems weird. There's an algorithm, right? Like
people get in first try, people then
first
wait.
try. I think I saw a guy on Twitter who has over 40 clears and no Vex. So that's
I think
that's probably one
we
of
had
them.
somebody who got it on the first time.
Yeah.
If I remember
Yes, you
correctly.
did.
Yeah.
Multiple people that got in the first time. Most people that we know they've gotten the first time. Some people have gotten them on a third, fourth time, but less than 10 times. But yeah, Jay, we feel you. Snail, not so much. Wait until Snail does 20 or something like that. Then we'll be feeling.
Then we'll be sad for you.
We'll be sad for you.
We'll be sad for you.
Yeah. I'm still waiting for the Titan chess piece, if that helps.
I know. Well, guys, that's pretty much the 12 for this week. It was a pretty short one, like I talked about in the beginning. There's going to be some things coming on July 6th. It's going to be this new update that is going to be released. And then Bungie's going to take that next week's 12 to kind of explain to you about everything that's going to be in that update on the July 6th update, I believe it's called. And also things that we need to look forward to is the upcoming Solstice of Heroes, where our evil Eva returns because she is Savathun in disguise. We cracked the code. We cracked the code last week. It was me, Snail, and Titan. We're talking about how Eva is Savathun in disguise because she brings masks during Halloween. She totally disregards the way quest works because I can have a quest for 3 or 4 seasons and then I can turn them in seasons later. And she's like, yeah, here's a reward. See, if that's not true evil, I don't know what is.
She's trying to give us cookies and candies to plump us up so they can eat us.
Oh yeah, dude.
Yeah.
And now she's coming back for
Nice with LSD.
Now she's coming back for the Solstice of Heroes. We hope. She usually comes back for those things. And so with that, guys, we get into the exciting part of the show, which we're going to be catching up on and continuing on the storyline that Snell has been bringing us each and every week. And this one is a doozy. Every single one of them has been great. And this one's no exception. This one's amazing too. With that, we'll let Snell take over and we'll try to pay attention to you, Snell, because sometimes we tend to doze off. I know Ness does, so we'll try to. Oh, look at that. She's paying attention
to this.
She's paying attention now. She's here. Now she's here. She's ready. Go ahead, bud.
I should just do like a Frozen screen.
Yes. Well, yeah. Be nice and quiet with a Frozen screen. Anyway, this week's story has an apt title. I felt, Gilded Knives. The knives are out. I've got to say, it feels like that at the moment. So this week's story focuses around the consensus approaching some guardians, in essence, to help them with their coup. And it feels like they're getting slightly desperate to find a guardian or some guardians to support them. So it starts with Lakshmi and Haido, who is the leader of New Monarchy, walking through the last city. And they're kind of discussing at the last time the streets were this quiet. And obviously, there's throwback to Lakshmi saying, well, I predicted the Red War last time, and no one's listened to me this time. So, yeah, and they walk into Saint 14, who's there, lovely, feeding the pigeons as he always does, and they're approaching him with the premise or the offer of replacing the current leadership of the Vanguard with him as the leader. Interesting that Saint mentions a character that isn't around with them, because obviously the consensus is 3 of the factions. And the one faction that wasn't walking around with him is Dead Orbit. And poor Jael is not around. And there's a pretty good reason why he's not involved. And I'm sure there's other stuff going on behind the scenes with him. But he's awoken, and his current view on Earth is, why are we bothering? The dancer's going to win anyway.
He don't care about us.
He's off, he's fine. Bear in mind that the Awoken live in a pocket dimension, so I'm sure it doesn't really bother them what's going on anywhere else, apart from the fact that their pocket dimension is currently taken over by a Vex mind that is controlling Earth. Oh, so perhaps he should worry.
Yeah.
Maybe not. But interesting that Saint notices that it's not a full consensus that's come to him. So anyway, they approach him with the offer of joining them and usurping Zavala and running the Vanguard. To which he says that he must have a conversation with Osiris, kind of dismissing the answer really and delaying what's going to happen. And we see later on, when in actual gameplay, we see them having a conversation about that exact thing. And Osiris saying that he's going to go speak to the Vanguard and let them know what's going on, rather than Saint, which probably means he's not, because we already know that Osiris is behind everything that's going on. But it's interesting that after he leaves them, that they mention the fact that they already approached another guardian, that guardian who's returning next week. Which I thought was quite interesting that Saladin had been approached already, because he's an interesting character and a bit of a loner in the tower in all respects, because he doesn't support a lot of what the Vanguard does in the first place, but likewise doesn't support what goes in the city half the time. Interesting they approached him. I wonder what his response was, and whether we see that at some point, or whether he knows more than that he's letting on. But they're definitely getting twitchy, is probably the word, about the Vanguard finding out what's going on behind the scenes, because they certainly get nervous when Saint walks away. That is he going to approach Ikora and tell Ikora what's going on? And Lakshmi is very sure that Osiris will stop that from happening. And sure enough, we see that playing out. So it does suggest that Osiris has got more involvement in everything that's going on than what you see. And some of his comments are kind of questionable at the moment. So yeah, he is a story that's ever turning, and a real power struggle is sort of coming to a conclusion, I think. Even they say that, well, I think it was Osiris that said to Saint that the city is like a powder keg ready to explode. In that little play out that we see in the helm, which is really interesting. And again, it's a pity there's nothing like the crown of sorrows lying around the tower, or Sabatune about, but apparently there is. So yeah. But in my my digging this week of things to talk about, I did come across the flavor text on the Vision. And why would I look at the Vision? Because I know it's one of Ness's go-to weapons.
Yeah.
But I did stumble across an interesting point, or number of points, that it's sort of hidden underneath what's going on. And we seem to have a view from Lakshmi that the consensus are all together with this opinion of hers and following her. But I don't actually think that's what's going on, because the flavor text of the Vision is from a guy that's been around since the start of the Future War Cult, Navarro. Where else have we ever heard Navarro's name? I know somebody knows.
Yes, Navarro is from D1. It's the first time I heard his name, but he was one of the original members the original people or guardians who they inspected or kind of did experiments on the weapon No Time to Explain, and they decided, or they found out, that this weapon was from the future, belonged to an exo stranger, and it was here in our time, our current time. So he's pretty crafty, or the Future War Cult is pretty crafty, and I guess doing experiments, or doing I guess, what was the word I'm looking for, is escaping me, but doing research on Vex technology, on any kind of new technology that they come across to. So that's where I first heard about him, was back in D1.
Yeah, he's also been involved in the device and researching the device that Lakshmi is actually using. So there, the thing with that in mind comes something quite important, because he's very powerful within the Future War Cult, the second in command in many respects. But the flavor text of the Vision, interesting, it's called the Vision, bunny ears, for those people listening, not watching, my bunny ears, that this is all reference Lakshmi's vision. And this is actually a flavor text of the resignation of Navarro over what's going on. And there's some really interesting points that he covers. He starts by saying, enough is enough. I know what you're using. I'll speak with the Vanguard. And I wonder if what we'll see play out is him suppressed and not being able to speak to the Vanguard, because he's got some really key information that Lakshmi's not shared with anybody. That first bit of information is he doesn't care that she saw the Red War, because she's not mentioned the number of things that she's seen that's never come true. And he knows that device is flawed with what she sees. So that's interesting. He refers to her this paranoia that she's currently invested in. So that's interesting. And it mentions his children, and that was probably that spurred his point about leaving the Future War Cult and resigning, because he talks about his children being harassed in the streets for daring to bring food to the Lixney quarter. They came in tears. It's all of this spreading fear amongst the people. And he firmly plants that responsibility at Lakshmi's feet. And it's interesting that we refer to the children quite often throughout all the stories, because I go back to the Saint piece, and that whole piece that the children are scared of him, and the child running away from him. We've got children mentioned here. There's children mentioned in various other bits of the lore this season. And it's quite an interesting ploy that's been put behind it, but I'm sure that will play out more as we go along. But yeah, he's an interesting character to be suddenly against what Lakshmi is doing. And he talks about the fact that the Iron Lords were converted from warlords originally. So, why can't the Elixni be converted into, light bearers with us and protectors of the tower, which is an interesting point. And this whole point about, danger is nowhere close. Death from within is what you're stoking. and just remember the Mithrax, whatever you want to call him, didn't fire the first shot. You did. So firmly again planting that blame at Lakshmi's feet. But yeah, he's resigned. So that's hidden in the background, and I'm sure that won't be something that Lakshmi is talking about. But in this week's little voice box conversation, she yet again is spouting these lies about the Vanguard lying to the city about what's going on, and even telling the city that Savathun is walking amongst the Vanguard, which is an interesting point, because how does she know that it's specifically the Vanguard that this character is hiding within in Savathun? So it's obviously somebody quite important, and she knows more information she's letting on. So yeah, the story is getting bigger and bigger, and it's coming to an exciting climax, because next week, looking at where we're going to be stumbling across Courier. So watch this space.
What's the probability of Navarro being a product of a political assassination? Because he knows a lot. That guy knows a lot, dude. He pretty much, like you said, pretty much told Lakshmi that, you know what, if things in the city go to shit, it's gonna be your fault, not Mithrax. So that's pretty intense. So she's awesome.
She's very specific when she says just remember, Mithrax didn't fire the first shot, you did. Which is kind of funny, because it reminds me of that whole Star Wars Han Solo shot first. So yeah, very interesting.
Poor Greedo.
Or Greedo, eh? Oh, poor Greedo.
I know. Greedo. Yeah, because they made it, so I guess for the special edition of New Hope, they actually made it look like they both shot at the same time, but really in the original one, Han Solo shot him first. Greedo never actually shot. So nerd was.
So now they helped him out.
They couldn't afford 2 lasers on the screen in 1977.
Apparently not, man.
No.
Well,
they were spending the money on my birth, so it's fine.
Oh, your age is showing, Snell. You should have said that.
I know.
All right, guys. Wish him a happy birthday, guys. Is that right? Send all your birthday wishes to Swooden Snail, and his address is 321 Baker Street or something. I don't know. What is that?
321. I'm down the road from 221A Baker Street with Sherlock Holmes. Yeah.
Sorry, I just trying to by memory remember when I walk by the TV, whatever address that guy lives on. Anyway, awesome, Sal. Thank you so much, man. I know next week's gonna be crazy next week. It's gonna be the I guess the conclusion or the culmination of everything going on, which it seems a bit too soon, because we're almost kind of in the middle, well, about 3/4 in the season. We're gonna have some empty days without story, you think? I think
well, they've got 2 more books, 2 more chapters of the book. So that's 2 more weeks, I would have thought. Yeah, and then we've got Solstice the Heroes, so it probably ties in with what's going on there rather than put Story at the same time as Solstice.
Ooh, I assumed there was only one thing, because according to my stories in my seal, it says I'm 7 out of 8. So I'm assuming next week is the final one. And then
there's definitely 2
there's
more.
2, right? There's 2
Whether
more
or not the seal is only for 8 of the stories, I don't know.
Yeah, I just happened to glance on that on Tuesday when we were playing. I was like, oh, I guess all I need is one more story mission. I could be
2
wrong.
Books.
There is
whether
one.
Or not it's the other book.
There is one that I do saw. It's part of the seal as well. That it says they just opened it up. I know you and I were discussing about it because we were kind of upset, like, oh, they gave out who the last boss is or whatever. Yeah. That it says like after you defeat the person causing the darkness and the Vex darkness, you do get that final book entry.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking one of the books is tied with the story, final story, and then another book is whenever you delete or kill. Again, no spoilers here. Curia, right? Curia. We're gonna kill Curia, which is very weird because Osiris doesn't want to kill Curia. He wants to capture it. And Lakshmi wants to do the same, which is kind of ironic.
I've got a slight issue with the fact that if we're just going to do a normal story mission and kill Courier, bear in mind that Courier has been the mind controlling the Dreaming City for so long. To only give it a small bit of screen time would be awful. If we 2 Anarchy bolts and Jesus beamed him to death instantly.
I have a theory.
Mhm.
When was, or have we ever had an all Vex dungeon?
No.
Okay.
No.
Maybe if Bungie could pull some strings, I do have a theory that maybe this boss has to be a dungeon, man. It has to be a dungeon. You cannot, or even a strike. I mean, a strike will be okay. I will say that. But if you make, like you said, everything that this character Curia has done and has been a focal point, it's pretty much Oryx's pet, right? As is
Yeah.
talked about in the lore, a very important character in the lore itself of Destiny. For them to be a override mission and then kill him at the end, that seems a little bit too cheap. I think you're not doing that character justice.
But I wonder if
hoping
because didn't we kill Oryx and then we saw Oryx in his throne world? So will we get Courier in this world, then a Courier in a throne world in a different form?
I don't know, man. The only thing
Because she is the blade transformed.
Yeah.
So are we just setting on the path to be transformed into full Taken?
Well, and that's another question we might ask ourselves: is this boss that we're going to be facing going to be able to be taken care of or killed off during this season? You think it'll spill over to the next season? You never know.
I'm wondering if we'll see Courier in the raid in the Witch Queen.
That's what I'm thinking. That's a good possibility. Maybe as a raid boss or a raid encounter as well for that.
Yeah, because if we're going to have a raid, is it going to be a Taken Throne World raid like Oryx was?
Yeah, that's a good theory, especially if we're doing it with the Witch Queen. It's a very hivish, kind of theme of a season and expansion that we're going to be getting. That's going to be pretty interesting because this whole season that we've gotten, this whole expansion has been Elixir driven, Fallen driven, with little specks of Hive here and there, because we are establishing that the Witch Queen is here and the Witch Queen is going to be a focal point in the future. But I totally agree with you. If we do an expunge mission or an override mission with Curie at the end, that's not giving that character any justice. So Bungie,
yeah,
I know you're not listening, but if you're listening, don't do that to us. If you can make it into a dungeon, that'd be awesome. A strike, that's passable. A strike is passable. It's new content. We're happy for that. But something that we're just going to kill, like you said, 2 Jesus beams and be done with. It doesn't. This better be a most horrific hard boss ever that has different phases. Even with that could be passable. But I mean, make it worth our while. That's the way it is. But
it'll be a special grandmaster. That's real.
But that's it, man. That's awesome, Sal. Thank you so much for the story this week. We're gonna be looking forward to the following week after that. And yeah, man, keep an eye on those flavor texts on those weapons, man. You find some pretty interesting things when you start doing some research. A lot of those, especially this season, every weapon that's come out of the future war cult, I guess, weapon pool has had some pretty interesting flavor text, especially the things that have to do with the season going on, with the story going on this season, which is kind of awesome. That was it, guys. That's a show. Any questions, any concerns, anything you guys want to bring up? We can kind of go to our closing things. I do want to apologize. I haven't been streaming on my normal time recently. I apologize for those who have called me on it, those who have messaged me. I will get on a routine. Life, work has been a little crazy. I will start doing that again. And I will let you guys know more about that as I sign off with everybody else. My name is Vega6417. You can find me on Xbox Live. That is my gamer tag, Vega6417. You can find me on Twitch TV /Triple Vega. That's where I stream, ? Most Thursdays. And if I have time, maybe a Tuesday here and there. Also on Twitter under Jasubius is my handle. And also make sure you check out the 3 Warlocks podcast Twitter, which is at Warlocks3. And if you like what you heard and you want to put some faces to the names, you can check out the YouTube channel that we have. And that's under 3 Warlocks podcast on YouTube. And you'll be able to see this episode and some various ones that we had in the past. That's all. Ness, go ahead.
All right. So I am Ness1 on Twitch and Xbox. Hit me up when you need help on Xbox. And on Twitch, I stream bi-weekly on Wednesday. I really try, but like Vegas said, life. We also have an Instagram for genuine _apathy. That's our clan for Destiny. And I have a personal Instagram, Lexus V1. So join up and send me messages. Smooth my balls. I'm not interested. Let's just stop with the message. All right, Snail.
They're desperate, those smoother balls, aren't they?
I've gotten like 4 messages from them. I don't know why.
Wow. Yeah.
And they're all girls. They're like really pretty girls sending like a message, and you look and it looks like a normal account. So I don't know. It's really weird.
Bizarre. But I'm Wooden Snail 2268. You can find me in various platforms, but I'm on the Xbox most of the time. I am going to do a shameless plug of I'm doing a charity event. I'm going to climb a mountain. So I'm doing it for a charity, Young Minds, which is mental health in children. It's a great little charity. So if you want to check it out, I've pasted in various bits on Twitter under my real name, Ross Heath, and on Instagram, Wooden Snail 1, and even on Facebook if you want to look there too. But by all means, it'd be a pleasure if people could support this cause. Thank you to those people that have. There seems to be some sort of top place war going on. I've just had a message while we've been streaming here from Jay saying Celine needs to give me her wallet because it'd be easier. So whatever. But thank you very much for all your support. It's most appreciated, and I'm sure that the charity will appreciate it as well, and those children will be eternally grateful.
Yep. Thank you, Sal. We're glad you're doing that. Ness, welcome back. Thank you for not staying too long. Thank you for keeping us. You are the glue that keeps me and Snail sane. So that's good.
Nice. I want proof that you're on this mountain. I want like a sweat rag. I want
that's a good question.
I want pictures.
Yeah, I'm actually doing it with another clan member. Bundy's with me.
Oh, okay.
That's great.
We could live stream it.
You
Like
guys
a
should.
picture when you summit. Are you gonna do that?
Do a live stream at the summit.
Yeah, you guys should. Very good. And when we go visit you, you're gonna have to do it all over again because you're gonna take us to that spot. Like, hey, I claimed this.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome, man. Oh god. Well, that was episode 36, guys. And once again, another special thanks to our guest host last week, Green Titan. Thank you so much for helping us out. Ness is back. We're all back, and we're ready for another episode next week. Well, we will bring you some new and exciting things and news that comes through Bungie about Destiny and anything Destiny related. So with that, guys, always remember,
When in Rome.
when in Rome.
The cats and the pigeons.
Oh.